Pittsburgh Steelers fall to the Indianapolis Colts 27-24 in a game that, well, you could put the blame on literally everybody. Top to bottom, doesn't matter who it is, coaching staff, player, every single player, maybe outside of Cam Hayward and Larry Ogunjobi and potentially names like Deshaun Elliott. Everyone else is to blame, top to bottom. But we'll start with the good, and then we'll go to the bad. The good was Justin Fields. Justin Fields, after a fumble that was clearly on him and immediately looked like this was Justin Fields of the past. Chicago Bears Justin Fields coming to life in Pittsburgh. It's over. He has finally ruined his opportunity. Immediately, he flips a switch and he becomes Justin Fields, Pittsburgh Steelers Justin Fields, the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers Justin Fields, and for another week reminds the Pittsburgh Steelers that if you bench me for Russell Wilson, you are making a massive mistake. And I would not close the door on the Pittsburgh Steelers making that massive mistake. But man, did Justin Fields say, I will put this team on my back. I will make plays that only I can make. I will make plays that will keep this game alive, all while everyone else around me crumbles and continues to crumble. Justin Fields looked fantastic in the second half of the Pittsburgh Steelers' loss to the Indianapolis Colts, and it wasn't enough. And you could look at the botched snap and you could say that was on him, and maybe it was. And if it was, that's a massive issue that, well, to be quite frank, we can't ignore anymore. The Pittsburgh Steelers cannot look at this and say, well, we will continue to try to fix it. You fix it or you don't. At some point, you draw a line. You are a quarterback. You are a center. That is something that you should be okay at doing. It is one of the only things that you should be okay, near perfect at doing. And the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback in Justin Fields and center and Zach Frazier just can't seem to get that done. Outside of that, Justin Fields did what he needed to do to try and win this game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. On the bad side of things, it starts with the coaching. Mike Tomlin should be called out for this one. This was one of the worst games he has coached as a Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. And I mean, little to no moments did you look at this and say, Mike Tomlin is doing a good job. Mike Tomlin is redeeming himself. I mean, it started with the slow starts, which Deshaun Elliott said after the game. He's looking for the Pittsburgh Steelers to practice harder this week. They lacked attention to detail preparing for the Indianapolis Colts. That's on your head coach. That is on Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin should take the blame for that, but he doesn't really. He ignores the question and says, I'm not concerned about slow starts to football games. You should be, because they hurt your team time and time and time again. But again, Mike Tomlin is not somebody who sits in there and lets everybody know what he will correct, and hopefully he will go and correct it. But from start to finish, that last timeout, literally the last play of the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive game, where he refused to call a timeout with 30 seconds left, the clock running, and 4th and 11 after a botched snap, and then your running back not going out of bounds, and your offense just all out of whack. It makes no sense. But again, not the brightest day for Mike Tomlin. Arthur Smith looked terrible. That was his worst game coaching the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know why it took so long to make adjustments. I don't know why he tried to pound the rock and run the football as much as he did before he realized, maybe I should put this in Justin Fields' hands. Maybe I should try to win this a different way. Maybe this offense isn't working the way I want it to work and we need to adjust. It was bad. And don't get me wrong, the Pittsburgh Steelers went 6 years almost without making a single offensive adjustment outside of Ben Roethlisberger drawing plays in the dirt. So to make an adjustment at all is a massive upgrade. But the Pittsburgh Steelers need to make adjustments much earlier than they did in Week 4 against the Indianapolis Colts. And on the defensive side of the ball, the number one defense in football came crumbling down just like they did to the number one defense in football a week ago. This was Joey Porter Jr.'s worst game as a Pittsburgh Steeler, and that doesn't concern me yet. Everybody's allowed to have a bad game, but it was noticeable how bad it was for Joey Porter Jr. Patrick Queen has yet to find his footing in Pittsburgh, and he needs to be quite frank. The Steelers need him to be good. Peyton Wilson struggled. Everybody outside of Cam Hayward and Deshaun Elliott, maybe Larry Ogunjobi, were nowhere to be found and struggled mightily in this ball game and did not contribute to what was almost a comeback victory at all. And then they were the referees who, I mean, it's the NFL. You're going to get bad calls. Unfortunately, this game was filled with a number of bad or missed calls that, well, you should still win despite of them, but sometimes it's more difficult than others. Overall, this is a game that the Pittsburgh Steelers need to come back from. They need to bounce back from. Are they going to? I would imagine. I don't look at them going to Vegas or playing the Cowboys next week and struggling again. I look at this as they got a rude awakening. They need to adjust. Mike Tomlin's got to do something about this. Will he? I don't know. In fact, I highly doubt it. But I would imagine that the players do. I would imagine that the players come in a little bit more motivated on Tuesday or on Wednesday, and they come in a little bit hotter on Sunday night. That's just what I expect. No need to hit the alarm button. No need to start panicking. This is a Pittsburgh Steelers team that is 3-1. That is a great place to be. But every flaw got laid out today, and there were a lot of them. Luckily, the Pittsburgh Steelers have plenty of season to correct them. They need to start correcting them one by one, if not all by all. But there are a lot of them, and they know them now. And, well, the only thing you could do is try to fix them and go up from here. 27-24 loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bad day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler and a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. But, again, 3-1 at the end of September is not a bad place to be by no means. And the way the NFL is going right now, it's a pretty good place to be with a lot of promise in front of you. But the Pittsburgh Steelers can't continue to go down. They got to go back up. And this one's on the coaching staff and the players to get this fixed and to get it fixed immediately. Will they? Only time will tell.